talk about Dan Mielke, I want to talk about a couple of other things. One is Scott Walker. I want you to know that this spring I've had the joy of traveling around to a lot of the Lincoln Day dinners and traveling with Scott. I should say traveling with him, getting to the destination at the same time. I've known Scott for a few years, and I want to tell you that is a man that will do a fantastic job as governor of this state. As you know, there is somebody else planning to interfere with that race by running as well. I think Mr. Newman is thinking about running against Scott Walker. It's really important that you understand that one of the problems that we've always had in trying to beat the Democrats is it seems like we're constantly building foundations and we're never putting up the building. Scott has built a good, solid foundation. He ran a few years ago, but he stepped down from Mr. Green. He built a foundation. That foundation is there. It's important that we follow through with that and help him build upon that foundation and get him into office. When we keep jumping from one candidate to the next, we actually commit suicide in the process. And that's why it's so important to stick with him on that. So, Scott, I was at the, can't think of the thing, convention, Republican, I think it's called convention. We were there at the conference, and we are at the prayer breakfast on Sunday morning, and I can tell you that he's a strong, spiritually minded person as well as a very good family man. So I want you to really put your efforts behind Scott. The second thing, I also want the party here to be a little aware of that I got a call from over by the Green Bay area. There has been some efforts, and we believe, we don't know for sure, that it's from the Democrats that are trying to get your list of memberships. Apparently a lady from Stevens Point, where I'm from, went all the way over to Brown County to ask for their mailing list as if she was part of the Republican Party. And yet we have nobody there with that name. Okay, and we know this happening in a couple of areas. So if somebody comes, check it out, because they're nervous about 2010, and they're going to be doing a lot of dirty politics in the process. So those are two things I wanted to mention. Pardon? Oh.
More than what they've done?
Yeah, more than what they've done. Last year, I had the joy of running against Mr. Obie, and if you can call that a joy, we had one debate out of 3 that were scheduled. He canceled out 2 of the other ones. At the end of that election, we polled the highest vote count of any candidate that has ever run against Dave Obie since he's been in office, for the 40 years he's been in office. And I think that's a pretty big accomplishment, seeing as how we had probably some of the smallest amount of funds, and it was a year when Republicans did a horrid job. We just didn't do well in the election in 2008. But yet here, Dave Obie took a 24,000 vote loss from his previous election. I beat Nick Reed by 45,000 votes, who was the one that ran against him the last time. So we made headway. And I'm not saying that that's because Dan Mielke has the ability to do that. It's because Dave Obie is starting to expose himself for who he really is. And people are starting to see that. And it's because of the people like you that helped me in my campaign. I didn't win it with dollars. I didn't get those extra votes by the dollar spend. I got it by the people on the ground working to help me put up those signs, working to get information out and flyers out. We handed out close to 300,000 flyers during that campaign. Already this year, we're almost at a 40,000 on handing out flyers and material going out. So we're building upon that. We're taking that foundation that we built in 2008, and we're adding to it in 2009, and we will continue to add to it in 2010. And our goal is to get face-to-face contact with 90% of the voters in this district. I'm on the road 2-3 days a week. It's killing us financially on my end personally, but we know that we have to get out there to do that. That's why I need your help. I need people that are committed to helping out, to give me names and addresses of people that will put up some of these signs. You might have seen some on Highway 8 that's going up around here. The little Burma-shaped style signs where it says, where have all the jobs went? Then the next sign says, Obie sent them to the Orient. Where did all our jobs go? Obie gave them to Mexico. Obie doubled the debt, and he says he's not finished yet. It's a crime. Obie takes $1, gives back $0.10. We're putting these signs up all over the 7th District. Thanks to a donation from a few builders and house movers, we got enough plywood to do some 500 to 600 of those signs going throughout the state. So if you have a good location on the highway where there's not a lot of those signs already, let me know. So that's another thing we're doing. But we're working hard But we're only going to win if the people get together and stand behind and build upon the foundations that we have set, so that we can actually get out there and make a difference. We're attacking Obi. One other thing you're going to want to know about me is I'm not a politician. A politician, because I'm sitting here running this campaign and people say, don't do that, it'll hurt your campaign. Don't say that, it'll hurt your campaign. Don't do this because it'll hurt your campaign. And before you know it, a politician is nothing more than a puppet that runs around and tries to keep out of trouble. That's not Dan Mielke. I will get in trouble. You will probably hear things where I did something that I shouldn't have done, because I'm taking a stand for what I believe in. And it's my belief that if the politician isn't willing to stick his neck on the chopping block for the citizens of this state, then he isn't worthy to be in office. If all I'm doing is trying to get elected and not taking a stand, then I'm wrong. Don't vote for me. So expect to hear Obi get mad at me, accuse me of saying nasty things about him, because I will. He may accuse me of doing something wrong, and I might, because when you do something, sometimes you can make a mistake. One thing that you guys heard that I told you last year, I still get a kick out of it, was when the young man asked me what was the worst thing I ever did in my life. And I went through the whole process. I think you remember the story if you were at the setup. But I got done saying it was even worse than Bill Clinton. It was really bad, terrible, but it was when I was young and immoral. And I said that one bad thing I did was I voted for Dave Obey once. So I will make a mistake once in a while, and I did that. So that's where we're at. I appreciate your support that you gave me last year. I'm counting on your support this year, and I also appreciate your prayers, because this nation will not be won over by you and me unless God's on our side, because this is still one nation under God, and we need to give it back to Him. Thank you. Amen.